Social media is a very interesting place, everybody. A little bit after we posted the episode about the Night Stalker, Aram on Everything podcast, people began sharing their memories and whatnot of the Night Stalker summer of 1985. And one very interesting thing that came out of these shares was from our boy Anthony Zuniga, who said he's got a buddy, Gilbert Huerta, who actually had a beer with the Night Stalker, and he linked to him, gave his on Twitter, and we were able to hook up with him, and he said he'd be willing to tell the story of that situation. So, what better time than now? What better place than here? Gilbert Huerta, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right. Thanks for joining us. I guess you said you were driving. You were driving home right now in traffic.
Yes, I'm on the 5 freeway southbound, heading home to Norwalk.
Okay, so you live here locally. Okay. All right.
Yes.
But at the time, let's talk about this. You had a beer and cigarettes, according to what you said here on Twitter, with Richard Ramirez. What year was this?
That was in November of 1984. My grandfather had passed away November 11th of 84, so we had went out to El Paso, Texas from California for the services. And one of the nights while we were there, me and my brother, Robert, may he rest in peace, and my 2 cousins and a good friend of theirs happened to go out one night, and we were looking for somebody to buy us some beer and cigarettes at the Good Time liquor store there in El Paso. And Richard Ramirez happened to be standing outside of the store. He was wearing some jeans and a black biker jacket, kind of like, the ones that the bikers wear.
Mm-hmm.
And so we hit him up and asked him if he would buy us some beer and cigarettes, and he said, sure. We just had to return the favor. And we were like, what was that? And he said that he needed a car battery. So my cousin and my brother went and stole a car battery for him. And still to this day, we make jokes about that was a car battery that my brother, may he rest in peace, and my cousin stole, that drove him out here to California to start doing the killings.
Wow.
Because right after that, it was when all the killings started to happen. And it took until August of 85 when they finally caught him.
Okay, so what happens? So he agrees to go in and get you beer and cigarettes, and what do? You guys go take off and try and go find him a battery to steal?
So he bought us the beer and the cigarettes, and then we went into the neighborhood, and me and Richard and my cousin Michael and his friend Jaime, we stood at the street corner in the middle of a neighborhood underneath the lamppost while my brother Robert and my cousin Mondo went to go steal him the battery. So once the battery was stolen,
yeah,
we took it back to his house, and for the life of me, I can't even tell you where he used to live, but we took it back to his house, and then he walked with us down to the Rio Grande, right there where we hung out and drank the beers, and we smoked cigarettes. We threw rocks across the river into Juarez, Mexico, and just hung out and talked. He took his leather jacket off and let my cousin use it because he was cold, so he let him use his jacket. Sometimes I wish that we still would have had that jacket to this day, because we would have been popular having his leather jacket.
Yeah, that would be interesting. What was he like talking with and drinking with? I mean, was he just another guy or what?
Yes, I mean, we would have never have thought that this guy was, you know, a murderer. You know, who knows if he had killed anybody there in El Paso? We don't, for the life of me, I don't know for sure if he did or he didn't, but he was really cool. We laughed and we just talked about, you know, miscellaneous things. I mean, it's been so long, I can't even tell you about what we talked about now, but I just remember he was like a really cool dude, and we shook hands, and when he finally decided to leave, he left, and we still stood there. And at that point, we just went home. It must have been around 3:30 in the morning. And yeah, up until when we came back to California, and we've been hearing about, you know, the Night Stalker and breaking into all these homes and killing women and everything. And when he finally got caught, and we had saw his profile of the sketch they had drew, and it kind of looked familiar, but we still didn't put the pieces together until when he actually got caught and they showed his picture, or they physically showed him on the news, and me and my brother unknowingly pointed at the TV at the same time and mouthed his name at the same time, saying Richard Ramirez, and our parents were like, "What are you talking about?" We're like, "We partied with him in El Paso when our grandfather passed away."
Wow.
Yes, interesting.
Yeah, that had to blow your mind, man.
It really did, because we were just shocked. We were like dumbfounded, couldn't believe, you know, that we had actually partied with the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez.
So he
is from El Paso, Texas.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So this is November 1984. So after that, you come back. So you were living in SoCal, anyways. You were back there for, I guess, the funeral for your grandfather, right? And then once all that passed, you came back to California. And then he comes back to California, or I shouldn't say comes back, but he comes to California I guess, you know, begin his, you know, series of crimes out here. I don't know what, because it's actually attributed to him, I believe, in January of '85 now. They're saying he killed a 9-year-old little girl who was staying at the same hotel as him in downtown L.A., and they're saying that actually, that we know of, counts for his first crime. So you basically saw him, as far as we can tell, before he went on this series of murders and rapes and robberies. So you actually, that's when your contact came with him.
Yes, at least a month and a half to 2 months before he went on his killing spree. And that's why I said we always make a joke about it, that the car battery that my brother and my cousin stole from him was the battery that drove him to California.
Yeah, who do you remember anything about, like, the when you were partying with him, saying like, "Hey, we're from California," and him saying, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna be moving out there," or anything like that? Nothing like that, or do you not remember?
I to be honest, I can't recall, but I do know that we did tell him that we were from California, me and my brother, and that we were there for my grandfather's funeral, and he did give his condolences to us for our grandfather's passing and everything. But he was normal, just any normal person. We would never have thought that this guy was a serial killer.
So no weirdness, no little signs of, "Hey, man, this guy's kind of trippy," or, you know, he ain't all there, nothing like that.
And nothing like that. And the funny thing about it is, his hair was the same style, you know, kind of shoulder length, really like curly, black hair, just the way you see him in his photo lineup. That's how I recall seeing him.
Wow, that's nuts, man. That's
It is.
That's got to give you chills to this day.
Maybe in the beginning. Now I just, you know, just think about how weird that was, how we came across him, in Texas. So it just amazes me that I can talk about it.
Yeah, really. And I'm sure, obviously, this has been, we had Zuni saying, hey, man, you got to talk to this guy, tell your story. I'm sure that's a theme that's repeated a lot for you the last 35 years. People saying anytime it comes up, hey, well, talk to Gilbert. He actually had a beer with the guy.
Yes,
Jeez.
I really do. I mean, even to this day, there's people that'll say, hey, do you remember Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker? They don't know him by the name, but you say the Night Stalker, and everybody knows who the Night Stalker is. And then I'll say, yeah, well, I partied with him in El Paso, and they're like, no, no, you didn't. I'm like, I'll tell them the whole story, just like I just told you the story.
Unbelievable.
There's nothing about that story that has changed. I never added anything to the story, took anything out of the story. It's always been the same story.
Right.
Always the same story.
Right. Wow. Just like him, man. It sounds like it'd be not just to be cool, like, hey, man, yeah, I'll get you your beers and cigarettes. No, you got to do something for me. Go steal. I mean, why couldn't he steal a battery? Do you not know how?
I don't know. It was kind of, now looking back on that and reflecting back, like how strange it was that he was just standing out in front of the Good Times liquor store, just standing there, and we just happened to approach him to see if he could buy us, like I said, the beer and cigarettes, and he did, as long as we stole the car battery for him.
That's so interesting. Like I said, I mean, he stole everything else. I don't know why he couldn't just steal a battery himself. But hey, I guess, maybe
maybe he already had did some murders there in El Paso and didn't want to leave any fingerprints behind.
Yeah, he had made a trip to Arizona before he had gotten caught, well into his crime spree. And there were some murders in Arizona when he was there, Phoenix, I want to say. But they felt that to add that to his charges would be kind of painful for the families of the victims here, because it would open up a whole new trial. Those people would have to give their accounts and relive it and go through it all again. So they just said, look, it's there's just really kind of no point in charging him for those as well, or pushing further with those. So yeah, it's very likely he has many other murders to his name. Ridiculous.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Anyways, Gilbert, you got a hell of a story there for life, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah, that's good stuff, and I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Anytime, man, anytime.
All right, Gilbert.
I'm happy to have done that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to meet you, man, so to speak.
Likewise. Yeah.
All right, Gilbert, appreciate it.
To my buddy Anthony Zuniga for reaching out to you, too.
Yeah, Zuni's a good dude.
He
absolutely.
Is.
Okay,
all
right, Gilbert.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you, man. Thanks for doing this real impromptu quick interview.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Wow, how about that, everybody? Man that had a beer and cigs, hung out, partied with Richard Ramirez. Oh, boy. Like I said on the original podcast that I did with Frank Gerardo, you got to listen to it, everybody. I'm looking for these kinds of stories. I'm looking, specifically for friends, family members, associates of the victims, or even victims themselves that lived, if at all possible. If not, if you don't want to talk about it, that's completely fine. But I will do, not like the interview we just did here, which was quick and impromptu, but I will do an extensive podcast about those people, whoever comes forward and would like to share. I will do an extensive podcast about their lives and their situation and all of this. All you got to do is direct message me on Twitter. That's at Chemical AT on Twitter. All right, we'll see where else this goes. I hope you enjoyed this. Get at me on Twitter, everybody. All right.